Hello there everybody, it is me, XFreezerBunny, and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. So today we are in Granite Falls, and this time we're building a winter themed house. I don't usually do holiday themed builds, but recently I've started watching Terrace house. And that's what kind of inspired me to do this build. And by recently I mean maybe 2 months ago. So yeah, I've been planning to do this build for a while now. I just felt like waiting for a little bit because I feel like putting it out sometime during the winter time was more seasonally appropriate. But for those of you who don't know what Terrace House is, it's basically a Japanese reality dating show. Is it even a dating show? It's kind of like Big Brother because people are kind of made to stay in this house, but unlike Big Brother, people are like allowed to go outside and just explore and just, you know, work and go to school and stuff like that. I've actually started watching the Hawaii season, but this house was based off of the Karuizawa season, which is the one after the Hawaii season. So yeah, so far I'm really enjoying it. I'm not usually a big fan of like reality dating shows, but I just really love the atmosphere of Terrace House. I'm not even sure if it's supposed to be a dating show, but based off of what I've seen so far, that's kind of the impression that I'm getting. So anyway, this is kind of like my take on a, you know, log cabin in the mountains, I guess. It's meant to be modern, rustic. Overall, the shape of this build ended up being a bit basic, so I decided to incorporate this truss detail on the ceiling to give it a little bit more of that kind of like, I don't know, woodsy, lodgy vibes, if you guys get what I mean. I've done this technique once before in my warehouse conversion builds, but that time I did a full truss. This time I'm just doing a half one because obviously this is like a smaller building, but I like it. I like the effect and I think it came together really, really nicely. I don't really have a problem with making basic shape builds as long as you can make it interesting, because to be honest, in reality a lot of structures are kind of pretty basic, but you can make it interesting if you know, play around with the structural elements, which is kind of like what I did here. So yeah, this is kind of like basically like meant to be like a winter getaway ski resort type thing for a couple. You know, it's meant to be kind of like deep in the mountains somewhere overlooking the lake, and it's got beautiful views of the surrounding nature. I actually haven't built in Granite Falls during the winter time, and I gotta say it's so beautiful. And I think at this point you can start to see the inspiration from Terrace House because of the color scheme I used for the outside and this brick detail as well. So yeah, I think the house in Terrace House was a lot larger than this, by the way, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of like make it my own. It's a little bit of a smaller size. And part of the reason for that is because I literally recorded this a couple of days before I was set to leave for the holidays. For those of you guys who don't know, I'm currently staying at my mom and dad's place in the countryside in my childhood home. I've already mentioned this in my other videos and on my social media, but yeah, I wonder if I sound differently. Let me know if I sound differently. I still have my usual, you know, microphone, and I have done commentaries on my laptop before, but I don't have my PC, my usual setup. I just brought my blue snowball microphone with me. So yeah, let me know if I sound differently. To be honest, I feel like if I sound differently, it's probably like better audio because I don't have to deal with all of the traffic noise, which I usually have in my city apartment. But you know, it is what it is. But yeah, it looks like we're moving on to the interior actually. And for the interior, I just went for a pretty open floor plan. I feel like a lot of the materials that I ended up choosing gave it a more modern, almost kind of like an industrial vibe, because I'm using a lot of concrete and some, you know, rough wood accents. This is one of my favorite aspects of this build, by the way, this fireplace. We really need more standalone fireplace. But yeah, this is a functional fireplace that I came up with using those like fire pit / table items from City Living. Is it from City Living? I don't know. But yeah, I put them underneath kind of like just a usual fire pit, and they do have that fire animation, which I thought made things a lot more cozier looking. But yeah, back to my point about needing more standalone fireplaces. Like, please, can we get more modern looking standalone fireplaces? Because in my mind I can only recall one fireplace, like one standalone fireplace, the one that came with Jungle Adventures. We definitely need more of those. But yeah, we just sped through the kitchen. It's pretty basic. I didn't want it to like, you know, take up too much space, because sometimes kitchens can be quite bulky, and I really wanted this space to be very open and very kind of like open concept, I guess. Also same with the dining room. It's kind of just tucked into the side corner thing. You will have to replace those dining chairs because obviously they're not functional the way they're placed right there. So yeah, just grab them and put them back again if you really want this to be functional. I just usually like to, you know, put the dining chairs onto the side for aesthetic purposes. And I'm using the sofas, love seats from my first pet stuff as like an L-shaped sofa. To be honest, that's the only sofa I can think of that could work on an L-shaped configuration, maybe along with the Moschino one. So yeah, we definitely need more L-shaped sofas as well. But yeah, this is the main bedroom. Obviously this place only has one bedroom, and yeah, in my mind the wall panelings are like modular, so if you want privacy you can like close them or whatever. That's kind of like how I envisioned it. So yeah, here we have just a little office area. Once again, you will have to replace that chair. I feel like that's like an unspoken rule at this point, because I've done this so many times in many of my other builds. Oh, I did notice that they fixed these like these table lamps that came with University. You cannot place these on desks before, and you can place them now, which makes me really happy. But I love that painting, that green painting from Get Famous. It's so beautiful. I think it really complements the modern woodsy vibe that I tried to go for in this place. And I'm putting some furniture pieces from Island Living as well, because Island Living had some really nice chic wooden furniture as well, so I'm incorporating some of those. Here we have like the little entrance area. There's really nothing here other than like an actual functional bookshelf, because the one I put in the living room I don't think actually functions as a bookshelf. But this one right here, I just put like a little bookshelf area thing, and also like a little console table type thing as well. And yeah, once again, I'm using the red shelf in this build. It's made life so much easier. You guys were not wrong in recommending that to me, and I'm telling you, I'm probably going to be using that so much in my future builds. But here we're furnishing the bathroom, and for the bathroom I decided to just separate the toilet from the actual bathing area, because, you know, why not? I feel like it's a more practical approach to furnishing bathrooms anyway. and I wanted to fit in one of those fancy corner bathtubs at first, but I ended up not being able to fit in any one of the ones that we had in game, so I ended up using the bathtub from Spa Day. Spa Day has some really great bathroom content. Like whenever I feel like nothing's working, usually I go for a Spa Day. So yeah, and I'm just putting in kind of like a, you know, like a sink area with, I think, a mirror from Spa Day actually. Honestly, that is my go-to mirror. I feel like I use that in 80 to 90% of my builds. It's just so nice and sleek and modern, and definitely fits my aesthetic perfectly. Also, I worked in the shower from university over there as well, and I did put in laundry in this. Usually I don't really put laundry in like these kind of vacation home type builds, because, you know, why would you want to do that while you're on holiday? But we had room for it, so I did put like a laundry room over here on this little closet side thing right next to the main lobby area. So here I'm just putting in a little extension to accommodate a hot tub, which once again is an item that I haven't used recently, so I felt like since this was a vacation home, I should have really incorporated some sort of hot tub, hot spring type thing. That was basically the idea I had for it. It's kind of like a hot spring onsen type situation, I guess. I really like it. I always see on like these TV shows people liking to take baths in the icy cold, I mean warm baths, I guess. But yeah, I would probably freeze to death, to be honest. I'm from a tropical country, so I have a feeling that if I go to like somewhere cold, I'd probably like freeze. Literally frozen. Anyway, here we have like a little fire pit over here on this deck. You know, just a little place to chill out and relax and maybe roast some marshmallows. This deck overlooks the lake, by the way, so you can be sure that this place has pretty awesome views of the lake here in Granite Falls. But yeah, I also did quite a bit of terrain manipulation in this build. It's not something that I do quite often because, to be honest, when you're doing terrain manipulation, it's really hard to incorporate it to the rest of the neighborhood you're building it on, because more often than not, I just see weird mountains sticking out like a sore thumb in a flat neighborhood. But since I wanted this to be more of like a mountain home, I felt like doing a little bit of terrain paint wouldn't be so bad. But I gotta say, this is probably one of my favorite like landscapings because it was pretty complex, I'm not gonna lie, but I love how it turned out in the end. That being said, it took me so much time to do this landscaping because I wanted it to look kind of like, you know, really mountainy, really rocky, you know, and I just had to basically place a lot of the landscaping items underground and raise them up so that they wouldn't float when you're placing them on the terrain, because basically what happens is that the terrain, you can't really place anything without them floating, because it kind of just, you know, the way the terrain paint is incorporated doesn't really accommodate like items being placed on them. So yeah, if you're putting like larger items, some bits and pieces of it end up floating on the terrain, which is just so weird. So I decided to, you know, make it harder for myself by placing most of the landscaping underground. And yeah, it took me like a good maybe 2-3 hours to finish all of this, but I'm really happy with how it came together in the end. I love kind of like the fact that this house just sits on this like rocky patch of like this little mountain terrain. I really like it. I think I would say it was all worth it in the end. So yeah, I also really love these debug objects as well. A lot of these are from Outdoor Retreat and also from Get Together as well. So yeah, here I'm just trying to incorporate these rocks a little bit better into the terrain, just so that they don't stick out so much. But yeah, because I did raise up the terrain quite a bit, I had to pretty much place most of the items underground and raise them up so that they wouldn't look weird. I also did the same thing for the trees. Now when I play tested this, the trees weren't actually like getting the snowy effect during the winter time because they were underground, so I had to move the trees on the actual level, on the ground level itself. But for the bushes, I did put a lot of them underground and they worked just fine. So yeah, that was kind of annoying. But yeah, I really love kind of like the overgrown vibe of this area. It's pretty realistic, I would say. Right, so since this build is coming up to an end, I just want to take a second to say thank you to all of you who have been a part of the channel and to all of you who have been a part of this journey. It's been such an amazing year for me and I'm just so grateful and I'm so excited to see what the new year has in store. I definitely have some plans that I hope you guys will be also on board with as well. But yeah, hopefully you guys are having a happy holiday so far, and I just want to all wish you a happy New Year's, and I can't wait for more adventures with you guys next year. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. As always, let me know in the comments if you liked it, and yeah, thank you so much for watching. You all have an awesome day. Enjoy the rest of the video, and I will see you guys in 2020. Bye bye.